Welcome to the Hollywood Scholar. I'm Jed Morgan, and it is great to be back after unfortunately having to take a few weeks off of the Witcher Next Gen playthrough that I'm currently going through. I'm excited to be back, but real fast, a piece of business. I'm actually going to be out of town next week for a little while for business and won't be able to do a whole lot of things. The only thing that's going to get done during that time is my Last of Us episode review on that Monday, hopefully. But beyond that, that's just something that I could publicly announce today. But let's just jump right into it. I have a very special guest this evening that you guys have missed for a long time. Every time I do this without him, the chat's like, where the fuck is he? Well, he is back.
Not even once?
Well, I've had sex before. Just, never with a person.
Never with a real person. Hi, everybody.
Jesus, man, that clip is so relevant. It's not even funny.
Well, that's what I'm told. That's my life story.
Well, it is great to have you back, man. You've been up to anything fun on the YouTube side of things?
I have 22 episodes of Persona 5 that have dropped. I have some shorts. I have one where someone told me that I can just skip to the next chapter. I don't have to go back to the base every time. But see, if I was to listen to that person and do that, I would have missed 24 training opportunities, which increases the level of my characters. I would miss the bonuses that I would get from eating. I would miss, and I was like, dude, I play on a hard difficulty. I can tell you play on easy just based on what you said. So shut the fuck up, leave me alone, go. Right? That's the kind of stuff I run into playing games like that. They're like, oh, well, you don't have to. So stop complaining about that you don't like that part of the game. And it's like, well, if you actually do the stuff on the higher difficulties, you have to do that stuff. And I was basically complaining that it's way worse than the game before, which was really bad in that aspect. And this one just makes me want to cry.
I'm a big fan of difficulty modes. I like playing it as hardest difficulty most of the time. Makes it fun. But I want to say hello to the chat real fast. Looks like Legatus and Jaden are both here. Hail, my friends. And Jaden, yeah, the King Arthur mole or the wart nickname is specifically from the Once and Future King. It's a variant of the myth. So it depends on which type of King Arthur myth you're reading. And the wart is definitely not a universal aspect of the many King Arthur myths. And it's most people don't even like. We don't know the true story of King Arthur. It's so shrouded in myth that whatever real man existed beneath all of that, it's kind of difficult to tell. He may have been a Roman legionnaire even prior to the 12th century when most people believe he's at. So there's not a whole lot of fact we have on King Arthur, which sucks. But let's jump right into the game, see if everything's working this evening. And it looks like we already have 12 people watching 4 minutes in. That is really good. Thank you all for being here. I hope you enjoy, and I hope you enjoy seeing me, get my ass kicked in Witcher, as Legatus will perfectly write down in the chat for you. I count every time I die. So
I hear you do even worse when I'm here.
I do significantly worse when you're here. But I do need to share, my OCD was driving me crazy because on stream, I don't like to do non-quest related stuff because it kind of slows down the momentum, right? But I needed to take care of all the question marks. So my OCD demanded it. So I took some time the last couple of days and I cleared out all the question marks of the areas that I've already been. And it felt really good. It felt really, really good. I know that doesn't matter to you guys, but my OCD really liked that I did that.
There's a bunch of question marks over here, though.
I haven't really. This is my first time in this area, so I just awoken those question marks, and I could do them later. But this entire circle was full of question marks, and now they're all gone. I'm very, very proud of myself. Very proud of myself. But right now, we're doing the Crones of Brookback Bog quest line, and so we've been told that there's some scary witch ladies in the bog, and some trail of candy might lead us to where they're out in this bog. So that's where we're at currently. But first, there's a game of Gwent that I want to start things out with. Ease people into it.
Jaden says, so far, Once and Future King is not super interesting. I am waiting for him to pull the sword out of the stone, but him as a child was very exciting. About 198 pages in it. Jaden says, I know it's going to get better later.
Yeah, I only read the Once and Future King once, I believe. It's definitely not the best King Arthur version. My favorite King Arthur version is the Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, and the translation by J.R.R. Tolkien is actually the superior version of that original story. But how's the sound? Are you able to hear the game? There's not really anything going on.
Anything, but I sure
I
wouldn't
hear
mind
it
a
now,
few rounds of Gwent.
Is it loud enough?
Yeah, I hear it fine. I also have headset on, so who knows, that could be why.
I can turn it up if you guys
sounds,
need it.
It sounds fine. I would ask the chat. So I got this game, I think, when it went to when it was just Gwent, and they released it as like a game on Steam or whatever.
That version is god awful.
I played it for like a week.
It's really bad. I despise because a big part of the game is collecting the cards, and that's how you get a better deck. But in an independent game, you can't do that. So the way that they like have you build the cards from scraps is really ridiculous and doesn't particularly work very well.
Oh, well, I played it for like a week, and I was like, I still don't really understand what I'm doing in this game.
Well, they changed the rules, so it's literally a different game, just with the same name. So,
well, I never really played the card game in Witcher.
I love this card game.
Your opponent won the first round.
Yep. The big thing about Gwent is knowing when to purposefully lose.
Oh, yeah.
Probably the most important aspect. And you have to gauge what cards you need for a specific enemy. Like right now, the enemy is playing with a monster deck. They're heavy frontline warriors, and they're duplicating front yard warriors. So that one card, if he had just played it now, 2 other identical cards would pop up with it as well. That's what that little head symbol in the middle of it means. So I need to have this card, a Biting Frost, because it makes everything in that front row down to a 1. So whenever you fight monsters, you need to have a Biting Frost or you're going to lose. Without a Biting Frost, you lose against monsters.
Got it.
Unless you're very, very lucky. Like, see, there's some heads. It flashes. We get some duplicates. Looks like he didn't have any of those other cards for that duplication in his deck. So, what's that?
What did that one say? When it rains, a what?
Torrential rain. It makes every artillery row cards down to a 1. Like this card is down to a 1 right now. But this is actually a good thing because artillery is my heavy. That's where my strong suit is. Just like there's his front row. And so right now it's protected. I have a clear weather, so I can get rid of the rain whenever I want. But I don't want to do that right now because there's a card called Scorch, and that gets rid of the highest card on the deck and all the ones of that same number. So if I have a bunch of these 6s out there, it'll burn all my 6s and take them off the deck. But right now they're protected by the rain down to a 1, so I can stack up my artillery up to the point when I clear it, and they're protected from a Scorch until I'm ready to reveal them.
Got it. So it says wait till Merlin changes Arthur into all those animals. I remember a Watch Mojo video about the top 10 fantasy literature stories. Once and Future King was above Wheel of Time. Blasphemy. Well, unless they watched the what was it, HBO or Amazon, one of the two. For
if they were ranking shows,
and they're like, oh, it's no longer a good literary story because this stupid show that they made of it. And then he says, I believe I have remembering the reading the wart changing into animals and talking to them. I don't know where that comes from, but I guess it's kind of cool. Is this a card game? Stupid fucking Discord notification for fucking park hopping. I don't know where that comes from, but I guess it's kind of cool. This this a card game we'll actually play in real life? I meant to put people.
Yeah.
Or put
Well,
in people.
yeah. Well, Watch Mojo is garbage anyway, so I wouldn't watch them to begin with. But yeah, you can play in real life. I've been eyeing the cards, but they're $200 with the deck or the board that you need. So I'm gonna have to really find a good justification for it. Otherwise, I'm probably never gonna do it.
Oh shit! Those guys just jumped to 16.
That's what a Commander Horn does. It makes every one of yours in that row that high. So it looks like he's actually not that strong. So I have more in the close combat range than he does. That number off to the right here.
Mm-hmm.
So because that number's higher, I actually don't want to use my Biting Frost, even though I had it ready in case I needed it.
Mm-hmm.
So last thing I want to do is my hero card. And that's this one down in the bottom left. There's like 6 options you can have for it. And it's not, and you always have it no matter what. The one that I choose doubles all my artillery. And so that's why my artillery is my best row. So let's see. And clear weather to get back my ranged people. These decoys, I could steal a card back off the deck if I wanted to. But because I don't have any dead cards worth saving, there's no point in resurrecting the medic to try to get them back. So that's all I need to do. And I've already won by 2-3 times what he had.
Damn.
There's not as soon as you get the basics of it, there's not really much strategy in it. It's like one strategy that works all the time.
Lose the first round and then win the rest?
Yeah, that's part of my big strategy, yeah. Yeah, you want to draw out their heavy cards up front in that round because I plan to lose it. So I put out all like my ones or the stuff that I don't care about, trying to draw out his heavy cards to win it. So I get rid of my useless cards while he spends his good cards, and I'm losing it anyway. So as soon as I feel like I've got a good enough ratio to him spending cards and me not spending cards, that's when I stop.
Jaden says, would people play this in real or in real life play this game? Or is this just a Magic the Gathering clone? It's nothing like Magic the Gathering. Magic the Gathering, you have to use like mana, and based on how many turns you have, that's the level you can play. Where Gwent, you can basically play whatever card you want whenever you want.
Yeah. And yeah, you can play in real life. That's what I was talking about. You can buy the cards in the game board, but they're really expensive, and teach someone how to do it. And that one's a lot more random because you have to just draw cards from a deck. You can't collect them. You don't have quite as much control over how strong your deck is, but it's fun. I played it in real life with somebody else's cards before. And it's a lot more challenging when it's against a person rather than a computer. So I prefer it in real life. But there's not really a circuit for it like Magic the Gathering. Not really a big real life.
Yeah, you don't go to your local card shop and have to deal with people smelling like dog shit trying to play Gwent.
No, that's not something I've ever heard of anyone doing before, as much as I'd be interested in aspects of what you just described.
We went to the comic book store, and it was during a Magic tournament, and I was like, all right, we're leaving, dude. This fucking place smells. And it was because they were having Magic tournaments. And for some reason, like, so people make jokes that the kids that go to Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments smell, but the Magic people smell way worse. And then some of the Pokemon kids smell really bad too. It's fucking awful.
Yeah, I never really got into any circuits like that, but.
Well, when Yu-Gi-Oh first came out in like 2001 in like America, I like started buying all the cards and started going to like tournaments, and I won one local tournament, and I basically got lucky because I bought like 3 Kaiba decks, so I had like 3 blue eyes, and I just put it as high as I could, and like not a lot of people had like super strong cards, so I was able to win. Jaden says my cousin is a card nerd who tries to get me to play Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh with him. He's not around long enough for him to teach me everything. I just keep losing. I can teach you Yu-Gi-Oh if you want. Like Yu-Gi-Oh is super fucking complicated now, and there's way too much fucking text on everything. But I could teach you how to play Yu-Gi-Oh. The problem with Yu-Gi-Oh is most of the people just look up a deck, buy the deck, and don't know how to play it, so they take really freaking long times to actually play the cards.
Yeah. Well, right now I'm at the edge of the swamp, the beginning of the Trail of Candy. It's the Trail of Treats, excuse me. But real fast, everyone needs to go check out Xlita's channel. It's the best Witcher channel out there. And he recently put out a theory video about these statues that you can find all over the place. And because the game gives you contradictory explanations for what they are, specifically because that is something that happens in real life. Myths, oral traditions contradict each other a lot. He believes that they're from the goddess Melitele, who has 3 aspects of herself, and there's like variations of these statues that fit with those 3 different versions of the virgin, the mother, and the crone. It's like a young woman, a pregnant, middle-aged woman, and an old woman. And so this is apparently the old woman version of the goddess of Melitele, according to his theory. Some really cool stuff that he delves into. These statues are pretty creepy, though. You know the story of Hansel and Gretel, right?
Yeah, that's what I figured this was about when you said you were trying to find a witch with candy.
Yep, it's exactly what the reference is. In the Witcher books, more so than in the games, there are constant references to old fairy tales and usually darker versions of them, and it's actually very well done. Like Mustang in the chat, his favorite version is The Beauty and the Beast from the first book. It's very, very well done. A very interesting take. The Little Mermaid one is pretty weird, though. I like it, but it's weird.
Well, I have all the Witcher books. I just never finished it. I think I got through the first 2 that were written in the newspaper before.
Yep, that's where you're supposed
Blood
to start.
of Elves, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So Sword of Destiny and The Wish,
Last
or
Wish.
something like that.
The Last Wish was the first one. That's the first one.
So I watched those 2, or not watched. I read those 2, and those were like first-person Geralt. And someone said like, I'll have to deal with fucking Nilfgaard politics, like in the show, going into the other one. So I just haven't fucking listened to them.
No, they're not like that. I mean, there is some politics in it, but it's still 95% Geralt. As it goes along, it transitions into Ciri because she develops as a character very, very well. She's actually my favorite character, but it's only Geralt or Ciri, or the occasional, like at the beginning of a chapter, maybe a brief scene. But yeah, it's still 95% the 2 of them. So I would still recommend it because the show, season 2 especially, was about 1% accurate to the books. Season 1 was about 40% accurate to the books. So I still say whoever told you that hasn't read them enough, because Nilfgaardian politics aren't that important besides they're invading.
Right. Perfect. Because I was like, I watched season 2 and I was like, if this is anything like the books, I don't want to fucking read the books.
It's not even close.
And someone was like, oh yeah, well it switches all these point of views and it talks about Nilfgaard and stuff. And I was like, fuck Nilfgaard. Nilfgaard is a bunch of fucking bitches. I hate them.
No.
Like, I don't even give a shit about them. Like, it's season 2, like, with all the Nilfgaard, I was like, you could have cut out all of Nilfgaard and lost nothing to the story. Absolutely nothing to the story. And I was I don't want to read the books if this is anything like it.
No, they butchered the hell out of it. Season 2, it adapted. I say it like this: the season 2 adapted one thing from the books. Triss goes to Kaer Morhen at the beginning. That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Nice.
And Jaden Hamilton, you're right. Yeah, it's the bear monster dude. He's more of a boar monster, and the vampire. Yep. Hail, Cannoli Sasquatch. Great to have you here. Yes, the Witcher show is abysmal. And it's great to have you here, man. All right, so I found these kids in the swamp, and I'm asking them if they know where Ciri's at.
They stole Ciri. No, I'm just
kidding. The girl I'm looking for, she's in trouble. I understand you might not want to help me, but you could try to help her.
How you know she was here?
I heard she visited the witches in the swamp.
But there's no witches here. There's only frogs. And snakes. And Johnny.
The kids in this game are pretty funny. I like how they do the kids. They're not just NPCs like there are in Skyrim.
Just kids. My kids. They're allowed.
Johnny sounds dangerous. We should ask some follow-up questions about Johnny.
We will be in a moment, but it looks like we have
Who's
another.
Johnny? Look.
Yeah, we're gonna ask about Johnny in a moment, but we actually have someone else who has decided to join us, a more aged man who this seems applicable to.
Doctor, before you go, one question.
Yes?
Where in the galaxy is Sanusi?
Show us your tits and I'll tell you.
I hate you.
You're welcome. Hey, at least we got to talk about tits with you coming in. Be grateful.
I hate you for that video still.
For what video?
Yesterday.
What was yesterday? Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna meme you to hell now.
On Roundtable, I thought you were talking about my video from yesterday. It's like, the fuck did I do in my video yesterday that would have you up and on? No, on the Roundtable, I showed that compilation of how many times they say gay and bros.
Read.
Not enough, I guess.
Read my name. Just read my name.
It's cut off.
Oh, good video
I
beats
can't
my
read.
She-Hulk.
It does not. It does not.
Yes, it does. Go full screen.
No. I mean, like, it does not beat the She-Hulk. The She-Hulk deal was garbage. Yeah, no, it doesn't even come close to your She-Hulk deal. Not even close.
She-Hulk's the greatest show ever written.
No, what we're referring to is he used AI to show us what She-Hulk's taint looks like.
Nice.
Yeah, didn't need to see that. You know?
Nice.
Pretty sure I didn't need to see that.
So, Cannoli says, been playing this since the next gen update. The improvements really helped the gameplay. Jaden says, sometimes it depends on where you are at your life for different people. When it comes to some stories, one of my favorite YouTubers hated Dune the first 2 times. Third time, he fell in love.
There you go, Biggles.
So, yeah, third time's the charm, Jaden. Hey, no. I said not on my... We've been over this, man. You can't show that on stream.
But I don't know
what... You didn't say I could. Adam just doesn't like me doing it.
I've said you can't, too.
Well, no, you didn't. Don't remember anyway.
I don't know what I missed. I wasn't paying attention.
Be glad of that, because if he puts it up again, I'm going to kick him, because that's not okay. Can
we'll
legitimately
never
get me in trouble.
No, it won't.
I don't want to risk it, especially for something that I don't care about. Like, I'll risk it for a good shot of Yannet, but I'm not going to risk it for that.
I got one of those.
But for Biggles, I'm going to ask who Johnny is.
Yeah.
Johnny.
I need to turn that sound back up. I turned it down too far.
Johnny's a cat?
Come the morning sun.
He ate a cat.
Oh.
What's your
and he shat some fur.
They tells tales and tales.
What?
Naught but tales.
Who's Johnny? Keep asking more questions.
We're going to find Johnny. We're going to go look for him.
Wore a long, beautiful braid my mummy did up for me. Had dresses with flowers on them.
So she's nuts, in case you haven't noticed that.
Young, ashen hair.
Clearly.
Your betrothed.
Daughter, actually.
She sounds like a normal woman to me.
My dear, sweet little daughter and her sister. Where are they now? Maybe they've come to some harm.
Jaden says, "Hail, Grandpa. Are you feeling hoarse at all?"
Young ashen-haired woman. Just need to know if you've seen her.
What are you looking at, children? Wash your hands. We'll go catch crickets.
I don't get that.
Won't learn anything.
Okay.
Neither do I.
Because I don't know nothing.
Maybe we're too old for it.
He knows a lot. When I ask
to
him
practice
something,
his jokes.
He says, I'll scratch my arse and tell you.
Ugly word. What you saying? To the hut. You'll stand in a corner. I'll make sure you do. You. Be gone. Be gone.
Also, Jaden says, if you didn't know what I was talking about when I made the Dune reference, I met myself and Witcher.
Yeah. He's talking about he tried to read Last Wish twice and couldn't do it. So he's saying maybe a third time we'll get into it. He just he doesn't like Geralt as a character.
Winds howling.
There you go, Biggles. Sent you a message.
Yeah.
Send me a message.
That's how you show inappropriate images.
There's nothing wrong with it. I actually can prove that you can't. I made a full video that was over 30 minutes long of just that.
Yeah, but you're not monetized yet.
Confused.
Not allowed. It's not
I don't get it.
He won't talk to you anyway. Gran don't like you. And Johnny's made up. And strangers steal kids.
See, there's nothing in that video, Biggles, that could get you in trouble.
Just got one question.
Sure.
Or I sent him the
Don't be
avatar. I
asking
didn't send him
no
the video even.
questions.
That's just the
You're a
avatar.
stranger. Not allowed to talk to strangers.
Can we eat now? Soup with scratchings.
You hear? Says he's afraid of you. Stop scaring my kids.
All right. Now, I'm going to go play some hide and seek with some children.
Why don't you want to talk about Johnny?
Why does the
One of
armor
us
look
better.
off for him?
The others must too.
It's just him who's pals with Johnny.
What do you mean?
They pick mushrooms and hunt
It don't.
snails.
It looks like a
But Grant says
Spanish-style
Johnny's made
conquistador
up.
armor.
It does.
There's a lot of different versions of the armor in this game. I go
Okay.
with whatever the highest stats are. There's
Okay.
hundreds of different pieces of armor you can wear. This is just what I have right now. That it's the highest stats.
Have any of you ever seen Johnny?
It says, well, your name is Mustang, and Mustang is a horse.
Why do you say he's
Just
made
let
up?
go of your reins.
Says so. And Gran knows lots.
Well, Mustang, as soon as I level up, which I'm going to do soon, I get the Chinese armor gets unlocked that we saw in
The
those
girl I
images.
mentioned is in
Those will look
danger.
pretty good.
You gotta help me get your gran away from the hut so I can talk to Johnny's
Made in
friend.
China.
All right. But you gotta do something
Back when
for us
that meant
too.
something good.
Play hide and seek. Gran never
You know,
does.
1,000 years ago.
Says her feet hurt.
Didn't they have like
Let's play.
gunpowder
You lie.
before anybody
But
else?
if I find you,
Mhm.
you have to help me talk
Quite a
to
bit.
the boy who knows Johnny.
He thinks he'll find us easy. Means he's never hid from the black ones. No looking, and you have to count out loud.
Hid from the
All
black
your
ones.
fingers,
Wow, this game's
toes,
super
blue.
racist.
It's a nickname for Nilf Guardians.
2,
We're going to have to
3,
cancel them.
They're actually Spaniards. We're going to hide from the Spaniards that we call black
20.
ones. This the Moors?
Ready or not, here I come.
All right. Time for some hide and seek.
One of your swords is red.
Yeah, I
You're
noticed that.
right.
Why you no
All right.
repair your swords?
Well, I'm about to upgrade and I don't want to waste it. Especially because there's no one to really fight in this quest, so there's no point in wasting it. Hello,
Why is-
See you.
Jenny.
Why is Geralt in green? It doesn't suit him.
Because it's the highest statted armor currently.
Man, they need transmogs in this game.
Oh,
There you
there's
are.
there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of mods. I'm just not playing any right now. I wanted the
No,
next gen.
transmogs are they're not mods. They're the ability to change what your gear looks like. So like let's say you
Oh,
really
yeah.
like
Mhm.
base
Yeah,
armor, you can if you've
I've-
already got that armor, you can use that for looks, but still have the gear you have on.
Yeah, I've seen that in other games before. I know what you're talking about. Like Assassin's Creed Valhalla has that, and it's pretty nice because most of that armor looks like shit.
Oh yeah, I find like the goofiest looking stuff in World of Warcraft, and I usually put it on my stuff.
Let's see, he climbed out the window. I'm too big to climb up that window.
Cannot do that now.
I was in Witcher senses when I tried to jump. I just had to let go of it. Try again. Come out, little child. This is the one and only time where it's okay for me to hunt down
No one
children.
left hiding.
No, it's always okay to hunt the children. It's just not okay to catch them.
No, we'll talk about your promise.
I ain't saying a word.
No, but it's probably a good idea.
Especially if you use a slingshot.
Found you all.
Oh no,
Now
I
you
used
wanna keep your
something.
word and help me talk
Bullwhip.
to Johnny's friend.
Taser.
Why wouldn't we? Promised him.
Sure.
Dog shock
We're-
collar.
I'm sure you use candy and a van.
Gran! Gran!
What do I look like?
Uncle Beep
Mindy
Yander in
Kaling?
yours.
Well, you look like Paddington Bear right now. On cocaine.
All right. The kid's got the crazy lady away from the kid who knows Johnny. All right. Tell me about Johnny.
Don't know nothing.
I won't hurt you.
That means he knows something. It's a double negative.
It's Gran.
Mm-hmm. You are right.
She's busy.
All right. Where's Johnny?
He could know more than you.
Yeah,
Not
it's this
gonna
stream.
hurt
I
him,
gotta
right?
use this avatar.
Because he's real.
I'm all right with that.
He's not
You make me
real.
hungry. I want some popcorn now.
I'm not gonna hurt him.
Johnny used to be boy, because Gran liked listening to his songs. When we was picking mushrooms, Johnny said he saw a girl with ashen hair in the swamp.
Where can I find Johnny?
There is a little meadow on the edge of the swamp. This strange tree grows there. Look around. You'll see him.
Thank you.
Good job, kid. I'm off to find Johnny.
Would you be okay if you don't find Johnny and you only find Johnny number 5?
I'd be okay with Johnny 5.
Oh, me too. Have you ever seen Short Circuit yet?
I have not.
You have to. Watch 1 and 2. It's fucking awesome. So, oh look, you're still able to kill these guys even with a broken sword.
It's damaged, not broken.
Oh. I'm so used to games. If it's red, it's broken, and if it's yellow, it's almost broken.
Yeah, the weapons don't actually break. It's more about sharpness, so it's actually more dull than broken. It's just dull right now.
Do you need a sharp blade to kill monsters, or can you just beat them like it's a hammer?
It takes longer, but you can still kill them. But since I'm not finding anything harder than this water hag in this quest, there's no point in sharpening it and wasting a sharpening tool when I'm about to upgrade soon.
Got it.
Siri's a whiny little bitch so far.
Oh yeah, no, that's very intentional, and she is annoying. I will grant you that, but it just makes her character arc so much more compelling when she becomes the badass warrior that she is in this game and in the later books.
Small footprint.
But yeah, she, especially in Brocculon Forest. Oh my god,
Yeah.
she's 9 or 10 then, so she's extra young, and
okay.
But it's the Brocculon Forest that really changes her because that's her first time of not being coddled in her entire life. So next time we meet her, she's a lot better than this.
Okay, so she's a lot. I was thinking she's like 13, 14 maybe.
That's where she is when the show meets them. But
Okay,
that's why that
okay.
moment at the end of season 1 doesn't make as much sense because Geralt and Ciri already knew each other from years before.
Okay,
When
that
he
makes a
saved
little
her
bit more
life in
sense.
Brocculon.
Makes a little bit more
Yeah.
sense now.
I think she's
I'm
not.
gonna reread that.
I'm pretty sure she's 9 right now, but she might be younger.
Context would matter and help a lot because I didn't even get any way of knowing she was that young.
They did say it.
I don't remember him saying it.
Yeah, she said her name once, and Geralt mentioned that it's been 9 years since that Pavetta Child of Destiny stuff. Or 10 years or whatever it is.
Okay, I didn't
So there were
even catch
multiple
that.
references to it.
Okay, it does make more sense now.
All right. Jaden says RD2 or RDR2 is good. So I'm guessing Red Dead Redemption 2 is good. But man, there are some really annoying aspects in the game, like when the story mode, it randomly changes my weapon. I don't mind annoying characters. It gives them chances to grow the F up and become better people.
That's exactly a description of Ciri, and that's why I love her so much. Like, she is without question my favorite Witcher character, and it's not even close, and it's because of that character arc. But yeah, Red Dead Redemption, it's gameplay-wise, it has a ton of issues. I'm not a fan of the gameplay, but the story is just so compelling that I forgive it, because gameplay's never been a high priority for me. But yeah, the Red Dead Redemption story, at least the second one, that's the only one I played, is top-notch. So I forget. Most of Rockstar games are like that. Rockstar games are janky as fuck.
They got a lot of problems and always have had.
Uh-huh. But and
I'm the
Bethesda,
complete opposite. Gameplay's super high, and then story I don't really give a shit because it's a video game.
It depends on the game for me.
yeah, some games are intended to be one thing or another, and I think it's good to have the variety, like having a different priority in gameplay over story. But Jaden Hamilton thinks I'm insane for this, but I actually think games are the best medium for storytelling. It gives you as more interaction, more senses are involved. It just capitalizes off every aspect of the human body possible at this time to tell a great story. That's something that a lot of these other mediums aren't capable of. So that's why, I think video games have the greatest potential for telling the best stories.
I guess I could understand that.
Many of you left.
I can understand it, but the best medium would be actually doing it on stage to live with a show.
Well, that might be a personal preference. Like, video games aren't my favorite. I think they have the potential to be the best, though, because stage-wise, you can't get close. Facial expressions are hard to see from that far away sometimes. There are limitations when it comes to that medium.
No, I'm talking about the show going up on the screen and people acting it out.
So you're talking about a movie?
Oh, yeah. Rocky Horror, there's quite a few of them that people used to do that to all the time. You can never
like
get
that,
any
but
more immersive than that.
there's still a lot of limitations when it comes to that. Like, you can only do what's on stage. You can't go to other locations. You're limited by what you can build. There's not a opportunity for CGI, for example. It's every medium has its major limitations, except for video games. At this point, there's really not any limitations beside the technology, and that's always advancing. But stage, I would put stage pretty low on the list, actually, of best mediums. Very low on the list compared to movies, television shows, books.
I
Right.
also am
I'd
with
put it-
Mustaine. I rather watch a stage performance than.
that it's personal preference, though, because games aren't my favorite, but I think we get the visual aspect, we get the interaction aspect, we get great visuals. You're using your ears, your eyes, your hands. You're just in the movie. You're in the story, and you can make decisions. And the world can feel real and realized, and you get to choose how much you invest into it. And it's long enough that you can tell a really broad story like a television show. You get those longer, bigger arcs.
You would probably like Until Dawn or The Quarry.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Any of the Butterfly Effect games, you should play them.
There's no such thing as a good interactive movie, Jaden Hamilton. They're all garbage. But gameplay, sometimes games can be good game related, but the whole thing about because it's a game, it shouldn't have a good story. Like, I've heard people argue that is this, as soon as there is a story in the game, it's not a good video game. I've heard people argue that, and I think that's completely insane. It's okay
I don't
for some
make that
stuff.
hard.
It's okay for some stuff to focus. Like, if you want to just play Call of Duty with no story, great, that's for you. But you shouldn't act like something like The Witcher 3, which is heavy story based, doesn't count as a video game because it has a great, compelling 3-dimensional story that's incredibly engaging.
Okay, who said that?
I'll tell you I'll tell you offline because it's someone in our sphere.
Say it in the private chat. I need to know. Yeah, right now. Right meow. Okay, so I've never made that argument. I will skip the fucking story. I will spam the A button and skip story. He doesn't say it completely like that, but he'll say stuff like that. But
like, even Jaden Hamilton, in one of the comments, he said a game is a game and a movie is a movie. Movies weren't necessarily originally designed to tell great stories. A lot of people at the time probably thought that books were the superior model, but movies have become one of the juggernauts in the medium. It's just a matter of developing the medium to the potential of the storytelling capabilities. Because just saying it's a movie, it's a movie and a game is a game isn't necessarily an argument. So there's a lot of different options. Some can be good gameplay focused, but there's so much potential for storytelling that is untapped. And like the whole term PlayStation movie game as an insult, I find incredibly short-sighted. Because if that's not what you're interested, cool, you're not the target audience. But to say that it's bad because it's a PlayStation movie game is discounting the value that a video game can offer in telling a great story.
You should play the Quarry. You should 100% play the Quarry.
Mario, Zelda, there's Donkey Kong. There were so many good stories being told in even the earliest video games.
I would
That's
agree.
why people wanted sequels. They wanted that second. They wanted a third. Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, Pac-Man Jr. There was stories. There was Saturday cartoons that came along. There was a lot that. No. Video games are a great medium. It's no different than TV or the movies or stage. They are all good mediums for telling the story. Some
I
of the
just think
best.
I just think the reason I say it is because it involves the most of the five senses of the body. And you don't have to rely on imagination like you do with books because not everyone has a good imagination. So you got the interactive factor with your hands, you're affecting the story, your sight, your sound, the length. It just got a lot of the factors that a lot of them don't have in full
Length
volume.
isn't a sense, dude.
Well, so isn't interaction isn't either. So
there's only four senses, okay? In order to get smell, you have to have that's the bonus sense.
You have
okay?
to have the
That's the
theater.
bonus
You have to have a live theater for a sense of smell.
Well, they're working on the technology for scent, but my point is it involves the most senses and other avenues of engaging with the story that other mediums aren't currently capable of. And so video games have some of the most memorable stories that I've ever come across. Like Red Dead Redemption 2 is a perfect example of that. A lot of people talk about the emotional impact the finale of Red Dead Redemption 2 has upon you. That's what makes it a timeless game. A lot of these games, like the old Legend of Zelda ones, that's a perfect example. A lot of people remember the story forever.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a great medium, and I'm just never going to agree with someone who discounts gaming as a storytelling medium entirely, like the person we're talking about in the private chat. And I've encountered other people, not to the same degree as this person, but in other degrees, who like the PlayStation movie game. If anyone uses PlayStation movie game as an insult, I'm fundamentally disagreeing with that person on their video game takes.
So I think that insult is basically I'm playing the game and then it goes to a cutscene and I have to do a quick action and then it goes back to the fighting and then it goes back to another quick action cut to the story. It's like I wanna play the game rather than stopping to tell the story.
Well,
Like
that's personal preference. That's why I'm saying it's not like we should only tell story games. It's just
that's why
having the
it's an
option.
insult. It
Yeah, it's just
interrupts
not made for
gameplay
you.
for no reason.
Then it's not necessarily, if you're not interested in a story-based game, which is fine, then maybe it's not made for you. And
Yeah,
that's
well,
having a target audience is not a bad thing.
I can see
I
it
do
both
this.
ways on that argument, though. I mean, I
I
don't.
do this. Spam. Skip. I
Yeah.
don't even listen to the story half
Well,
the
like
time.
God of War Ragnarok is considered one of the best games of a long time, the last decade maybe, because of its great story. The same with God of War 2018. That's what people remember about it. Like I've never come across a person who's like, "I love the gameplay of God of War Ragnarok." And nobody says that. They all talk about the story, whereas the original God of Wars, they always talked about the gameplay. It's just different franchises have different priorities, and I think that's okay.
There's a difference
I
between good story and spam that some of the games put in it, and that's I see where the point is
Well,
there
it
with
has
that.
to still be of a quality. It still has to be of quality. It's not just have a story in there
I
and then it's good.
don't give me the choices. Give me the story to go along with it because I don't feel like making choices. I want a good story with it and be able to play it. Once you start saying, okay, make certain choice, listen to this, it's like no, I'm with Biggles. Spam button. Bye bye. Goodbye. Get out of my way.
I really like that aspect of it because you're literally in the story. You're making decisions. You're in the character as much as you possibly can be, considering our current day technology. You're in the story. And if it's well written, all the options are good. Like in The Witcher 3, there are dozens and dozens of different versions of the game. Like nobody's even found all the different variations of the game that's changed based on your decisions. And they're all gold. That's what makes it one of the most memorable, beloved games of all time. Like people still talk about it. It's still trending now after a next gen re-release above a lot of new stuff. It's trending above Hogwarts Legacy right now, and that's what we showed on Roundtable.
fuck that game.
But
Fuck that game.
yeah, it should have a combination, Jaden Hamilton, but it still has an imagination. Yeah, you're really good at the imagination, Jaden. So books are your favorite version of it. But a lot of people aren't as good with the imagination. So it offers the most opportunity with the most interactability for the most people.
JB says there was a Street Fighter, the game, the movie, or whatever it was. It was a mess. There was in Mortal Kombat 9, because Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat 9 was trying to be a what did you say earlier? What a PlayStation? What did you say
Movie
it
game?
was?
PlayStation
Yeah,
movie
it was
game.
trying to be a PlayStation movie game, is what Mortal Kombat 9 was trying to be. I just want to kick the shit out of people in Mortal Kombat. Stop fucking going straight to cutscenes after every fight.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
Amen.
give a shit. It's Mortal Kombat. I want to beat the fuck out of you. That's why I go play Mortal Kombat.
Exactly. It depends on the franchise. Just like with the Godzilla movie, you don't want the human storyline. You want monsters fighting monsters. So it does depend. It does depend. But it's just discounting game storytelling as a medium entirely, like a lot of people do, I feel is very, very short-sighted, as it's the largest entertainment industry currently in the world, and it's not even close. It's not even close, and it's only the future is only getting brighter and brighter for this as a storytelling medium. So I'm not going to try to discourage studios from telling good stories, and I don't think other people should too, with insults like PlayStation movie game, or like the person we're talking about in chat saying it has a story, therefore it's a bad video game.
Well, in August, supposedly in August, Baldur's Gate 3 fully releases, and that has like, in just the first act alone, there's like 500 different outcomes that can happen.
That
Like,
sounds awesome.
You can side with the goblins, and if you side with the goblins, you can attack the town. But you can also side with the goblins and then betray the goblins. You can side with the druids, or you can side with the town folks, or you could, and like, you constantly have different things. And because it is Baldur's Gate, it deals with dice. So if you roll a nat one, your stuff just changed, you know. So
That sounds great.
I'm looking forward to it. I think they just added paladins in the last patch, or not paladins. No, I think it was paladins. So I have to go back and try it with the paladins. I've tried it. I've redone the first act like every time there's a new character and just play it. Yeah. But I don't go to the second act, which they released. I just wanted to, because there's so much shit that can happen.
Yeah, it depends on the game, but that sounds like one that a story really benefits it and the different options benefit it. And like another example of criticism that I don't think is very well thought out and is very short-sighted is the whole idea of, oh, if they wanted to tell a story, why didn't they just make a TV show? Well, TV show offers different perks and different drawbacks than a video game was. So like God of War works way better as a video game than it would as the television show, even in the best case scenario. So just saying, oh, it had a story, so why not be a television show? Well, maybe the video game medium was the better option for telling this specific story.
Yeah,
It's
they tried
just
that. It's called Witcher body odor.
exactly. So it just depends on the product, depends on the story, and there's a lot of variations, but discounting it entirely is incredibly short-sighted in my opinion. And basing your criticism off just the aspects of the story in one way or another is trying to downplay one of the biggest avenues of the future of storytelling. And it's delivered me some of my favorite stories of all time, at least in recent years. They've all been video games in recent years because you're in it. It's just got so much potential. And I know I'm in the major minority when it comes to that, but it's just something that I can't understand why people are so adverse to storytelling in games. It's okay if that's not for you, but for some other people, it is, and it's a great opportunity to tell
This
stories.
is more for your generation, your age. This is your movies for you. For a lot of people my age and, up to probably about when you were born, it was movies, TV, sitcoms, theater, you
Well, that
getting the
was the
movies.
most
So they're
superior medium. That was the superior
yeah.
medium at the time. That's where the technology was at. Gaming technology wasn't superior enough to offer such a thing
And
as the
there are
content.
criticisms to be had in all of it. I mean, if you want to know the best medium for, entertainment and the best game out there right now, it's called Twitter. If you look at it as a game, it's fun.
As a game, yeah, it's pretty funny.
All right, you guys, as much as I would love to say and talk shit about stories and video games, I'm going to go play a game that's very heavily on the story and stream it.
Hubert?
So, no, Fire Emblem. That it's like 20. I want to say there's 20 games now if you count all the ones in Japanese. No, 15? I don't know. How many? I don't even know. If you count, or maybe it's besides Fire Emblem games, there's how many Fire Emblem games are there? 17. There's 17 of them. All right,
Wow.
I'm going to go play that because I'm only streaming it and I freaking desperately want to play it, so I gotta go.
All right, take it easy, man. Thanks for coming.
See you guys later. Have fun. Don't do anything I want to do. So kill that little kid right there.
I'll do my best.
Murder him.
I'll do
Murder
my
him.
best.
Cold blood. All right.
Yeah, bagels.
All right. Bye.
See ya.
Maybe it's a mental cesspool. It's a playground. Mess with people that have heart attacks real easy, and then start crying and complaining about you. Basically, if you're a parent, you can do anything on Twitter and get away with it because you've already had to put up with whiny babies.
Yeah.
Can I help you somehow?
Now, Twitter can be fun sometimes. I'm getting more involved with it recently after Adam got on, but still, I still avoid it most of the time. But Jaden Hamilton, yeah, Devil May Cry is a good example of different priorities. Like, even with The Last of Us, the basic story is very basic in The Last of Us. It's all about the characters, just like you're talking about with Devil May Cry. Sometimes the characters are the best. And with video games, you can get engaged with the characters in a way that a lot of other mediums don't allow you to, as you can become the characters as well to a certain extent. It just really depends on the story.
JP, here, I'll give you an example of how good Twitter is. I've got a game. It's called How Fast Can I Scroll Past Grumpy Old Vaping Gamers comments and text and replies?
Damn it.
Because I'm sure Jed knows what that's like. I got to find a post. Shit, Grump, get out of my way.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Love Grump to death. And as I say that, I'm scrolling through, and holy shit, cannoli! If you're still in there, herpes container. Okay, that's funny right there.
He's always on point. He's one of my favorite Twitter users.
That's just hilarious.
So, are you gonna subject yourself to The Last of Us?
No. Why would I do that to myself?
Well, because apparently 98% of people think I'm insane, saying that it's bad. Most people think it's good or great. Like, someone just commented on the Geeks and Gamers article and called it a 9.5 out of 10, this latest episode, and I gave it a 3.
I know where you and I usually fall on things, so...
Dude, this episode was so much worse than last week's. Holy fuck.
Get you your voice back?
I'll wait till it's completely over and see what the reviews are, whether I want to watch any of it or not.
Yeah, it's probably a good call, especially with this. But yeah, I've been called a lot of names for having opinion on The Last of Us. Last week, there was enough value in episode 1 that I could see where some people were coming from, and so I just was like, all right, I'll put out my opinion, accept that I'm in the minority, and just kind of let it go and be whatever, not get too confrontational. But after this episode 2, I'm like, no, this is hot, steamy garbage. I'm not just gonna let people enjoy, or I'm gonna let people enjoy, obviously, but I'm not gonna actively go out of my way to not be confrontational with my opinions. Because
why?
Well, with episode 1, it's like, I'm glad people are enjoying it. I'm glad there's some good TV that at least people think is good TV and they're enjoying it. I didn't want to ruin it, but at this point, it's so bad that it's just beyond the point where I can, in good conscience, do that.
Be yourself always. Be true to thyself.
Like, there's someone on Twitter who I was talking to. She was great. She wasn't being confrontational at all, but she loved it. And she said that the reason she loved it is because a frog plays the piano in it. It's like, but that has nothing to do with its objective. All right, cool. If you're enjoying that for that level of engagement,
wait. Hold on. A frog is playing a piano.
Well, it's a frog sitting on the keys of a piano. It moves around and kind of plays it a little bit on accident. And apparently, it's a big meme moment now.
No. I got better things to do than see a frog playing a piano.
Yeah, and Jaden Hamilton makes a good point. There's a lot of plot holes in it. Like, Tess is surprised to know that Ellie knows that they're looking for a car battery, even though Ellie was sitting on the ground when Marlene was negotiating with them for a car battery in the previous episode. It's like they didn't talk to each other, the writers.
Done celebrating?
My favorite
I love Johnny. Sucks that what's his bucket is gone.
The sound of surreptitious shenanigans is like licking snails through a cloth. Thank you for this, noble whoever you are. Long be your life.
Hang on a minute. I helped you, now you help me.
Would you turn this beautiful act of altruism into a banal bartering of favors?
Love the way he talks.
I'm looking for a young, ashen-haired woman. See anyone like
You
that?
familiar with these creatures? The godlings?
If it were yesterday. As soon as I woke, I went to empty my bowels.
Not off the top of my head. My brain's in something else, so I'm typing something to you.
Suddenly,
I hadn't heard of them before playing this game. They're not in the books as far as I'm aware. But I really like them.
Young, ashen-haired, just like you said. Wounded and panting to boot. She raced off towards the children's hut. Quick, as if the crones were after her. I yelled some unpleasant.
That's a great point, JB. And when they come across a operational car with a car battery and barrels of diesel, enough to get them across the entire country to their destination, they just walk away from it. They're like, ooh, this could work. This is exactly what we need. Let's go inside this building and blow ourselves up instead, and then go out the back and ignore the truck in front. It's like, that's the whole reason you came here, was for a car battery or a truck with enough diesel to get all the way there. Fucking retarded. Ooh. Yeah, well, I already knew about that Mustang. What's her bucket? Eowyn.
No, not just her.
Ooh, others?
Read what I said completely. Yes.
It's doing narration.
Huh?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. A lot of people freaked out in the Geeks and Gamers article I wrote on it recently and said, "Oh, no one's actually excited for this. It's going to be bad." I'm like, that's not what I felt, but maybe I was wrong. Maybe it generally is negative.
Pretty much everybody I know that's a Tolkien fan is excited for it.
I also had one person say, "Oh, they're involving people who destroyed the books in the Peter Jackson trilogy, so yeah, it's going to be garbage." Like, oh, okay, so it's one of those people who think the Peter Jackson movies are a terrible adaptation.
Yeah, I got no respect for those people.
Well, and JB, talking about ammo, Joel fires once from his revolver and immediately goes and hides and reloads all 6 chambers of his revolver. It's like, you fired once. Why the fuck are you reloading? And there's no ammo conservation. There's nothing like that. He's just an idiot. And Tess does not know how to hold a gun. It's relatively minor stuff, especially stacked with all the writing and acting issues. But yeah, they don't know anything about weapons in this show.
So let me get this straight. A lot of people are dead right now in the show. You know, we had spores or whatever it was kill a lot of people.
If spores aren't in it, he said it was dumb, so they made it roots that connect all the zombies in a telepathic hive mind.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying we don't know what the fuck it is, because it's not according to the books.
Right.
But anyway, so there should be car batteries everywhere.
Yes, there's abandoned. They walked past a few hundred abandoned cars on the way to drop off Ellie.
Okay, and then you said he fired one round out of a revolver. Did he have a chain fire? Or was this just a single revolver?
It was just a single revolver.
So we know nothing about guns. We know nothing about cars. We know nothing about plot, story, any of that crap. Why are you asking me if I'm going to watch a piece of shit like that?
Well, in the game, it made a lot more sense because it wasn't about a car battery. It wasn't about getting to his brother, because his brother and him have been estranged for about a decade. And so when their reunion happens in the game, it's meaningful. But in the show, they haven't talked to each other in 3 weeks. And he's getting a car together, building a car to drive out to Wyoming to make sure he's okay. And that's in the game. Yeah, they were separated. And the reason why he was having Ellie as cargo, because the Fireflies were going to pay him with the guns that were stolen from him. He's a smuggler, and so there were hundreds and hundreds of guns that were stolen from him, given to the Fireflies. And so the Fireflies are like, hey, if you take Ellie to this place, we'll give you back your guns.
Okay,
and
question
it's his
in
livelihood.
in the show, where are they leaving from to go to Wyoming?
Boston.
Okay.
Yeah, it's where it is in the game as well. They're in Boston. It takes over a year.
Yeah. So we're leaving the coast to go to a more friendly state.
Well, ultimately they end up in Utah. They just pass through Wyoming on the
Good
way.
God, what are they thinking there?
Well, that's where the Fireflies set up their laboratory to make a vaccine, and they didn't
I
know
ain't
where it was
going there.
at. But
I ain't going there to save my life.
I would either. But luckily, nobody lives in Utah anymore. No one lives in Salt Lake City. It is a little awkward when you're playing Last of Us from our background to see a recreated Salt Lake City temple in the game. It's a little awkward, especially overgrown and covered with vines and broken down.
Can I jump up and down and say yes, yes, yes? Oh Lord.
Johnny,
Yeah, no, I ain't. I did Witcher with you. I ain't doing this.
A spark jumped out and whispered.
But this is the first time I've really experienced being in the utter minority when it comes to something like this. Like, even the people who are normally with us against garbage are loving it, and I've never experienced this before. That's why I was kind of felt bad. It's like, maybe I'm just wrong. Maybe I'm just going to be quiet with my opinion for the first episode, but the second episode was so bad. It's like, all right, I definitely feel like I'm right, and I need to be honest about it. So I'm not going to be, subtle.
Welcome to my world with Game of Thrones.
The woman I asked about earlier.
It's a good point.
I kept telling people this is not going to end well. He hasn't finished the books. Oh, no, it'll be okay. They know the ending. Bullshit.
Please, it's important.
And
I need to turn off Discord.
Gran, please hear me out.
I don't hear it.
You don't hear it, but it pops up on StreamYards, the notifications. I'm going to turn that off real fast.
I mean, the only notifications I'm getting are ones directed at Jeremy. And I think Shaban's taking care of that, so that's okay.
Yeah. No, I just got one from Krista from the premium chat. All right. We won't get any more of those now.
She is on. I was like, where the heck is Krista hiding? I don't see her. There she is.
Didn't even fuss about my stolen voice.
Jaden Hamilton, it's kind of hard to tell right now because everyone is fucking loving it to the point where it's hard to differentiate stands from normal fans, but Mike has been around occasionally. He was in my my views breakdown from Thursday. I went banana balls on that one. But for the most part, people are being respectful, even if they are enjoying it.
How many more episodes does it have?
There's going to be 9, so 7. And
the next
one
we're only in episode 3?
Episode 2.
It's gone off the rail by 5.
Oh, it's going to go off the rail in the next one because it's a gay prequel, is what the next one is. That's not from the games at all. Like, it's going to be 80 minutes long, and not a single minute of it is from the games. It's just about these gay characters who's the one gay guy was already dead before the game started. So it's just their love story for some reason.
That's where people start agreeing with you.
I'm getting ready to pull out a razor fist.
Wretched and small.
Is Mellow Mondays in half an hour or an hour and a half?
I don't know. Let me look. I was busy trying to get past Grump again.
You disturb our rest, woman.
What do you think of these crones?
Not looking. Trying to get the information. Holy. I don't even want to hear any of you guys talk about She-Hulk when you see the thumbnail that Adam put up. Wow. 7:30, so 84 minutes.
Okay, good.
Tell me everything.
Yeah, we'll just go till then because we got some cool plans for that. I just need to shout at the universe about how bad Last of Us was.
To fear woodland beasts.
What type of game is that, Jaden Hamilton? Nier Automatica? Is that like a RPG, turn-based? I'm not familiar with that.
I've never heard of that one either.
A dark power has surfaced near
I gotta look that up.
It feeds on hatred and disdain, Destroy the beast, and we will be grateful.
Yeah, these crones are based off the witches of Macbeth. Pretty interesting.
Dark power? You need a knight errant or a witch hunter, not a witcher.
Yeah, I've never seen this
The
game.
alderman of Downwarren will tell you all. Remember to collect payment from him after you complete your task. And now our servant will bring you the dagger.
It's not exactly what those women actually look like in real life. Propaganda, false news. They're not hot naked chicks.
No, they're not. They really are not.
No. All right, so they're going to give me information on Siri when she passed through here and helping me find her if I do something for the local town. Because the local town worships them like deities, so and gives them offerings for that. So to keep that going, they want me to do something for the town and say it's on behalf of the crones to keep them worshipping. The problem is, I gotta take care of their mother, the crone's mother. That's what their request is. So I can free the spirit, the mother, and help the mother, or kill the mother. Those are my options.
Kill them all, let God sort them out.
What's that?
Kill them all, let God sort them out.
And that's usually how I go about it as well for this quest, especially because I know all the outcomes of this game, and I know who's a good person and who's a bad person, and what children start vanishing if I make certain decisions. See, chat, I was talking about this earlier. This is the pregnant face of Melitele, according to that fan theory. That other one was the old lady, skinny, gaunt, old-looking. This is the pregnant face of Melitele. There's statues like this, 3 variants of the Virgin, the Mother, and the Crone, all throughout the bog. It's a really little interesting deal. They're not officially called the Faces of Melitele, but the YouTuber Xletus believes that they're a precursor to Melitele back when the Wozgur worshipped them right after the conjunction, but before the first landing 2,000 years ago. I know too much about this universe, probably, because no one knows who the Wozgur are. Like, I could ask 95% of Witcher fans, hey, do you know who the Wozgur are? They're not going to know. I might know too much. The only other franchise I can say that about is Doctor Who. Doctor Who in this, I question if I've spent too much time on it.
Greetings.
Let me answer that. Yes, you have.
Yeah. But I love it, so it's all right.
Nice village.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Pearl of the swamps.
If you say so.
You get by all right?
Aye, winter to winter. Somehow we survive.
Recognize this dagger?
Not the dick dagger.
Not the dick dagger.
I didn't know you belonged to them.
I don't belong to no shitty-ass, creepy, naked women.
Down to business. I want to get this done quickly.
Ah, so that's how it's to be.
I'm supposed to help solve your problem. Tell me what it is. Just the essentials.
The war awoke an ancient power. An evil one that feeds on bloodshed. Nightmares haunt our nights and days. Folks sleepwalk from their homes, never to return. Under the tree on the Whispering Hillock they lie. Unburied.
This has always bothered me, but I don't know enough about trees to have a educated opinion on this, and you might because you know everything about everything. Could a village legitimately live off of acorns as their primary source of food?
Native Americans did. Not as their only source, but you can.
Okay. Because the big thing that the crones do is they have the giant acorn tree, and that's how all the villages around get 90% of their food.
I'll look around the Whispering Hillock.
And I resent that remark. Adam's older than me, apparently. He knew Adam and Eve. He was Eve. Adam and Eve.
He was Eve?
He was Adam's Eve.
Adam's Eve. Dude, he was not sure what to think of that image when I pulled it up.
Which one?
No, the one that you did of him as Adam.
Show me what you saw.
He didn't see that during the stream?
No, I brought it up at the end of Roundtable.
Oh, what did he say?
He just like sat there staring at it. I think he was too dead inside after the video I showed. But yeah,
Yeah?
he was not sure how to react to that.
Things I've done.
Jaden Hamilton, yeah, Doctor Who is by far my favorite franchise, even above Witcher, substantially so. And that's why I as much as I, have written fantasy and talk about fantasy more often than not, sci-fi is my greater love overall because of Doctor Who. I want to do a sci-fi series after I finish. Either like a full high fantasy or a sci-fi is what I want my next book series to be. Because the current idea I'm working with that I've told you about a little bit, Mustang, is very high fantasy, own world type, full world building, which is something I haven't done before. But I do want to do sci-fi though.
Faster.
It's a big tree, JB. It's a big ass tree. I'm not questioning there being enough acorns to feed them. It's just the nutritional value.
Very high.
How much would they have to eat? That's like bushels and bushels.
I don't know, but that's something we learned back in school. But they made breads and different foods with it. But they still had to have
Oh, I didn't know you could make bread from acorns.
Go. Was it bread? Let me look.
Oh, then maybe I'm just overthinking this. Because if you can make bread, you can do a whole lot of shit. All right, so
acorn bread.
One of the benefits of replaying a game like this is I know there's a shortcut into this cave, even though you wouldn't know it unless you'd played it before. And luckily, I know that it doesn't change the story at all. It just saves me about 20 minutes of swimming through caves, diving under stuff, climbing around stuff. So I'm going to use the shortcut because it doesn't really affect the story.
Apparently, acorn bread is gluten-free.
Really?
Or that may be a gluten-free recipe. Yeah, but okay. Yeah, acorn bread, acorn squash bread, so you can mix them with other things.
Not good.
I mean, the basic rule of thumb is if a deer can eat it, you can eat it.
That's a good basic rule.
I don't know about that. I've seen deer eat wild hemlock.
Ooh, so it's not a good rule.
Yeah, same thing happened to the deer that would happen to you and me.
Alright, so it's just a dumb deer.
Well, here's a good one for you. If you ever get a chance to go to Florida when the Brazilian peppers are first coming on, the egrets, white birds will eat them, and they get highly intoxicated, and they get balls of steel. And these little white birds do stupid shit when that happens.
Oh, I love stuff like that, natural highs.
Yeah, it's First, my buddy, when I first moved down there, a friend of mine told me about it. I'm like, yeah, he's full of shit. No, he wasn't. I was like, that damn bird's going to take on a dog. Okay.
Stop running away.
Jed, do you use Steam?
Do I use what?
Steam.
Steam? Yeah.
There
Of course
you go,
I did.
Jade.
Yeah, GoGo is awful. I'm not a fan of GoGo or whatever, GOG. That's the main alternative. And Epic Store? Yeah, definitely not. Except for the free shit they give out. I don't buy games on Epic, but when they're free, I'll take them.
You want to see me go goo-goo for a game? Just wait. They ever reintroduce or re-release SOCOM? You ain't going to see me for 6 weeks.
I'm worried about the Witcher 1 remaster, but if it's good, I'm going to be disappearing for that too. Because it's a great story and I love Witcher 1, but it has not aged well gameplay-wise. It's painful to play, so I've rarely replayed it. But if I get an excuse to... There we go, I got it. Yeah, with Disney in charge of Doctor Who, Jaden Hamilton, it's going to lose all that. I mean, it's not officially in charge, but they're putting up the money that they're unofficially in charge. It's going to ruin all its British charm.
It's Disney's in charge.
Yeah. Yeah. 100% believe that, but apparently I'm a bad person for believing that, according to Twitter. It's like, it doesn't matter what's in the contract. You put as much money forward as Disney is, you're in charge.
Why do you care what anybody on Twitter says?
Oh, no, I just laugh at it, but at some point it's just like, what is wrong with these people?
So somebody got fired for... yeah, we'll say that on stream.
Come no closer.
Alright, there's my shortcut. Saved me like 20 minutes. And I had to fight that werewolf anyway after I came out of the cave, so that doesn't take away or add any time, so yeah. Quite nice. Ooh. Sapphire.
The powers that protect me, they sense whence you come. Why have you gone? Why still this?
Yeah, looking at this spirit, I'm gonna generally assume it's evil.
Or is my freedom?
Doesn't look like a good spirit would appear like this.
You cannot judge a book by the cover.
You claim to be imprisoned.
Isn't that the entire point of developing a cover, though?
No.
Well, that's why I hire an artist to get a good cover so people judge it off the cover well enough to give it a chance. That's why you hire artists.
Give me 30 minutes of the AI.
Nowadays, yeah.
See, I would rather do a cover that is either ambiguous or misleading so that people actually are surprised.
Well, that's good too, but you still want it to be interesting. You want to draw people in. You want to get that initial hook, whether or not it be an accurate hook or not. The cover is designed to get to hook.
If the book's related towards a woman, just make it a trashy woman's novel cover. If it's related to a guy, Gandalf.
Well, like mine, I have the Aegis on the front from Greek mythology, the name, and my name on the top of it. It's pretty simple for the hardback. The paperback's a lot more intricate with the phoenix on the cover, but yeah, my hardback, the Aegis is the big draw.
I'll have to go look at your hardback.
All right, yeah,
it's on Amazon, right?
Yeah, I prefer the hardback. I love the hardback, but for the second book, I actually prefer the paperback. So it's kind of interesting how that worked out. But for the first one, yeah, definitely the hardback. But yep, I do not believe creepy bulbous monster.
Your words alone, not enough. Dare to harm me, and against you will rise all the power.
How come your paperback's only $6?
Amazon has sales on it a lot.
Oh.
Yeah, other sites have it at the full price, but Amazon's always running a sale on one of my 4 versions. So it looks like they're doing the paperback right now. Yep. I actually don't mind. Something's always on sale, and so for a lot of people who can't afford the high cost, I'm all right with it. Because it was never about money. I just like sharing my stories, so if people can't afford the full price, Amazon gives them an option.
I like the hardcover better.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, even on Death March, that spirit's not too hard to kill. But I didn't actually kill it, per se. I just banished it for the next few hundred years. Sweet. Alright. I just gotta go outside, and luckily the werewolf is dead, so I don't need to save the townsfolk waiting for me.
Place of power.
See, even with Apocalypse in, I still like the hardcover better.
Yeah, in general, I just prefer hardback or leather-bound.
Oh, leather-bound is always my favorite. It's just the feel of a leather-bound book.
I don't have many of them. My complete Shakespeare is one of the only ones.
Where's something lurking there?
An evil spirit had possessed a tree on the hill. It was responsible for the killings.
How'd ye dispel this evil?
Okay,
Some
what the
being
hell's
had
up with
come to
Splash
possess
Mountain?
the tree's heart. I destroyed
I
the
have
heart
no
and its
idea. I
inhabitant.
barely know
So
what
we're a
Splash Mountain
ghost.
is.
We'll be back?
I know it's a Disney, and I assume there's water involved, but I'm not an amusement park guy.
The crones, or the ladies of the wood, as you call them.
Well,
sent
they
to
used to
remind me
call it
about
Flash
them.
Mountain for a
Give
reason.
them
I'm
what
trying to
they
figure
want.
out why it keeps being brought
I
up.
do. Give me the
Honestly,
dagger.
Well,
maybe I'm
isn't
bad
Splash
teaching.
Mountain
Back
like
soon.
have some racist connotations? Like
That's
with
what I saw.
Tiana, the Princess and the Frog one.
I don't get it. Okay,
I,
Flash Mountain is what it was always known as because it takes your pictures you're coming down the final, and it was notorious for girls lifting their shirts.
oh, nice. Oh, how very Vincent Van Gogh of you.
There's payment.
There was a point Disney didn't, it got out on the web and Disney didn't care.
Tis our
Was a
pact.
point.
You're a stranger. You don't know life here. It's honest pay for their protection.
So, all those ears in the woods.
Put it out your mind, master. You soon be leaving, and we must tarry on. Our young'uns and their young'uns after.
Yeah, the crones like
No
ears
god
for some
or
reason,
master
so that's the
watch
big
over
amount of
well.
worship that they
The
want
land
the
is no
townsfolk to keep
man's.
worshiping them, so
He
they
who
keep
wants to
getting ears.
survive must seek his own protectors.
Yeah, and Jen Hamilton, there are gameplay only games like that Squirrel with a Gun game that Grump was talking about a few weeks ago. That looks a lot of fun, and there's absolutely no story to a squirrel with a machine gun. It's just a squirrel with a machine gun, but it looks like a lot of fun. All right, we're about to see the Big Daddy Crones, and they're not hot naked ladies. People have different preferences about the facial hair, but I prefer them with a beard, Jaden. I just like beards in general. Oh yeah, them some ugly ladies.
In real life, you're different than you were in the tapestry.
Well, bring it here.
They got some saggy ass titties.
Do you see what I put in the chat?
I haven't. I have to click out of the game and it pauses it.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you'd seen it or not because you never commented.
Is it more about the war review?
Yeah, it's in the private chat.
I'll click on it in a second.
StreamYard.
Yeah. I don't want to pause the game in a cutscene, but yeah, as soon as we get out of it, we'll do it.
Never seek to cross us again.
I didn't cross you. I did what you wanted. Oh no, she's talking about Anna.
Your children are plump as piglets, sweet as caramel. But now we must talk to our white-haired friend.
All right.
Dad, Mark. This is Anna, the wife of the Baron of Crow's Perch.
She belongs to no man.
A fruit ripened in her womb. A fruit sprouted from seeds sown by a man she detested.
Yeah, it sucks. She made a deal with them to miscarry and blame it on the Baron. The Baron thinks he caused her to miscarry, but no, it's the crones at her request.
Come, it is another woman who interests you. Speak, white-haired one.
All right, tell me about Siri.
Deal. I did my part. Now you do yours.
A word once given, we never break. The girl, mousy blonde. That's what they call it.
Thin as a rail, terrified, exhausted. She could barely stand the poor thing.
We cared for her as best we could. Like she was our own daughter.
I have Jaden Hamilton. A lot of those old original ones. They're a lot darker than people think.
Mischievous, stubborn, and selfish.
Don't believe you. They say you always keep your word, so tell me everything, exactly as it happened.
We shall tell you, brave boy.
So this actually takes place just before, chronologically, this flashback, than the previous series section when she went to the Baron.
We would glimpse her likeness, a mirage in a blood ring. She came from the lower swarm. We knew not at first it was her the omens had spoken of.
A child of the elder blood. The soul seed that was
Don't tell him.
birthed
Don't tell him.
into
Make him read the book.
Yeah, read the book. I'm not going to tell you what happened with Hansel and Gretel.
Okay, those crones actually look like the right crones.
I love that one has like these creepy legs hanging down the middle of her actual legs.
Yeah.
And those titties hanging out. We get some underboob. So, yeah, they're looking up Ciri's blood from their hands. Pretty gross. Elder blood has magic, so they want to eat her.
The Grimm fairy tales are some of the greatest ever written.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lamb.
Come, sisters, no point in dawdling. The table's set. The cauldron bubbles.
We cannot. You know she is meant for him.
Imarith.
will get her. He will, but not whole.
Imarith is the chief navigator of the Wild Hunt.
You'll never look at a gingerbread house the same after reading a Grimm's fairy tale.
No.
I can taste it already.
There was a Lord of the Rings reference in there. I don't know if you caught it. But remember in Two Towers when they're like...
Yeah, I heard it. I heard it.
What about them legs? They don't need them. Boy, they look tasty.
I can quote that whole scene. I can quote half that movie. They spawn indefinitely, so there's no point in staying to fight them because I would just be here forever. So I'm just going to run away and try not to die.
I like gelflings.
You like what now?
Gelflings.
Oh, I thought you said gilf. Gilflings. With
No,
a G.
gelfling.
As in-
Gelfling. Gelfling.
Yeah, I heard GILF as in grandmas I'd like to fuck.
No.
That's why I was a little surprised, you know? Yeah, it's kind of hard to imagine Ciri going from where you're at in the books to who she is right here. It's a great arc.
You tried to kill her, tried to butcher her like an animal and eat her.
Her blood. The taste brought back memories of our youth.
Actually, I should send that to your phone.
Elder blood. Extraordinary girl. But you knew that. Such a shame she fled.
Because I know you can look at your phone while you're gaming.
I can, yeah, that
She
doesn't
escaped
stop it.
you, but I'll find her.
There you
We'll
go.
come back here together and kill you.
Your return, you shall. Our fates are bound.
Yep, we're coming back
One
for you.
will die, but it shan't be one of us.
You know, I still haven't seen Dark Crystal.
Now you shall chase shadows.
Ooh, you should.
amidst fog.
Each time you see her, she will be
That's
a mirage.
that's Creature Shop at really its best.
And if you find her, the girl will
Well,
die.
that's kind of a big plot point in the books. Jaden is her babies. From two different fathers, two different powerful men want to have babies with her. From the two biggest factions in the Witcher world.
Read the books, Jaden.
Read the books. There's even some lesbian stuff in there from multiple places.
Yeah, but that chapter got real boring. I went back and reread it again just because I was like, it
In
really
Blood of
is
Elves?
that bad. Yes, it really is that boring.
It's good setup. It's necessary setup. But yeah, Blood of Elves is Blood of Elves and Sword of Destiny are my two least favorite books. I still love them to death, but yeah, they are without question my two least favorite books. Dude, you need to get Baptism of Fire through the last book. That trilogy, the final three books, are exceptional. That's what really sets it apart as why I think it's one of the greatest book series ever written because of that final
Taking
arc.
my time. I'm not speed reading. I like to absorb what I read.
No, and no, I know you're doing it right. I just can't wait for that. Is all. All right, I know
Now,
this quest is nearby, so let me finish it up. Yeah, that's real
because I
close.
will read one, then I'll go back and, well, I'm listening, so I'll listen to one, go back and find associated areas from the other area of the books, and so I can tie them together and I can get a full picture. It's kind of like Gone with the Wind. I read Gone with the Wind and then Scarlet, and then as I was doing Scarlet, I was going back to Gone with the Wind.
I still have never gotten around to the books. The movie's so good that I just haven't.
Movies. You don't need the book for Gone with the Wind. You do need Scarlet, though.
Hmm.
Yeah, Jaden. Dark Crystal is a Jim. It is Jim Henson and Creature Shop at their greatest.
This is 89, right?
Was it 89? I want to think it was before that because my son wasn't born.
No.
Was Dark Crystal because I don't believe my son was born.
It was one of those early movies, Jaden, that really developed monster prosthetics.
82.
82, okay.
Yeah, I didn't think it was 89 because my son wasn't born yet because I watched it with him when he was a kid. Yeah, and even the follow-up shows, Dark Crystal's just all the way through very good.
I just have so many great things from the past I haven't gotten around to. My list is enormous, and I don't know if I'm ever going to get through everything.
Yeah, you will.
I don't think so. There's hundreds and hundreds of movies, television shows. I got to prioritize.
Okay, you start out for science fiction, high fantasy, start out in 1952. And then you just go forward.
Do you adhere to the what's his bucket? Quentin Tarantino philosophy that before the last 20 years, the worst decade for movies was the 50s?
Oh God, no! 50s was great. Tarantino, he's a tool.
He said it's only beat out by the 80s, and that pisses me off because I love the 80s film. A lot of people say that. A lot of people I've heard say the 80s is one of the worst decades for movies. I'm just like, are you high?
Yes, they are.
Pre-2000, there's not a bad decade for movies. And even like pre-2010s, really. Because, yeah, I like a lot of the early 2000s as well. There's some great stuff.
I'm just going to blow him completely out of the water right now because I'm done with his bullshit. And anybody that wants to try and go up against me, Forbidden Planet. That's all I got to say to you. 1956. Without that movie, you don't get Star Wars, you don't get Dune, you don't get Star Trek. I can go on and on and on. That movie started it all.
I've never been a fan of him. I've never been a big fan of Tarantino. Like Pulp Fiction, I do not like. I do not like Pulp Fiction. It's just not for me. It's not that I think it's bad. It's just I don't appreciate the art style. Similar to like Godfather, I respect it a lot, but it's just not for me. But and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I liked the last 15 minutes of the movie, and that was about it. I've never rewatched a Tarantino movie. Not a single one. I've only ever seen them once.
These people are very self-pretentious and egotistical, and they think they're the greatest, and they're not. It's that simple.
Yeah, like even Inglorious Bastards, I don't think is good. It's not bad.
No, it wasn't good.
And I'm not a big fan of his big deal of like alternate history as being one of his biggest selling points.
Here, if you okay, let's make another argument against him. There's this little 1939 film you may have heard of called The Wizard of Oz.
It's a good example. With Gone with the Wind, I say that's probably one of the most influential movies ever.
You
Like
think?
even kids today still watch Wizard of Oz. Kids today don't watch Gone with the Wind.
My
For the most
aunt
part.
still calls me and tells me Wizard of Oz is coming on. And it has to be on network TV, not frickin' anything like that. Network TV is the best way to watch it.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine how influential Wizard of Oz is.
Well, you could take it from there, and then you go forward, and let's take a look at Frosty the Snowman, any of the Peanuts. There's just
never return again.
How could anybody be so arrogant to say that? Go look at the original Nosferatu, the black and white original in 1898, I believe.
The mist and you'll never see home again.
Well, he didn't say that stuff before the 50s was bad. He just thinks 50s was the worst decades of movies before the modern era.
No.
Just specifically the 50s.
Good to know someone reads them.
The Wizard of Oz book is a lot different.
Oh yeah.
It's another good example of a good adaptation that doesn't resemble the source material. There are good examples of it, as much as people act like we don't take that into account. But there are examples of changing the source material for the better.
Jaws.
Yeah. I don't like the Jaws book.
Oh, I know a lot of. I have a friend of mine that he was a lifelong Jaws fan. Never read the book. I said, "Have you ever read it?" He's like, "No, why?" I'm like, "Go read it." He read the book. He came back. I fucking hate him now. I'm like, you found out about Hooper, did you?
Where'll I find this monster? Start south.
The Jaws book is better than the Jurassic Park book, though. I really don't like Michael Crichton. At least what I've read. I haven't read the Eaters of Death, but I didn't like the
Eaters of Death. You need to. You'll like it. You will like it. That is one. I'm not a Crichton fan myself, but Eaters of Death was really good. I finally finished listening to it the other day. Granted, that narrator is hard to follow, but I was able to get it out. Yes, Jaden. Wizard of Oz books are dark. They're supposed to be dark.
There's actually a pretty good bit of the later seasons of Supernatural that talk about it. Oz is real in the supernatural world, and they do it a pretty interesting way with a lesbian relationship with one of my favorite characters. I love Supernatural. They did that part really well. There's a lot of great homages in Supernatural. Like there was a shapeshifter becoming a bunch of old classic horror monsters from the black and white day. So they did a whole black and white episode in that style. They did a lot of great stuff. A lot of meta.
We don't ask for much. You can do a lot with stories. But how about just doing your own story instead of screwing stuff up? Or if you are going to do something that's already been done, stay true to the canon.
Different claw marks. Guess a few individuals feed here.
I've heard some things about Sphere, and it doesn't. From what I've heard, it's not something that I would be super interested in.
Yeah, no, I'm passing on that.
Magic. This is getting interesting.
I just don't like his writing style more than anything else. It's very erratic.
I want that.
You're looking at more Weta?
The odor. Metallic almost.
Yeah, it's the bane of my existence. What can I say?
I like looking at that type of stuff, but I've only ever bought the Siri figurine. Like I've never been able to pull the trigger, but I do like looking at those pages.
The problem is shipping.
Yeah.
That's why I wait till it goes over to Amazon, because then you can get it with free shipping.
Monster must have been concealed. Surprised him. Guess I'm dealing with an old foglet hiding behind.
And my Bubo the Owl went out of fucking stock, so I've on the waiting list.
That sucks. I love that movie. I'm so glad we watched that back in Sci-Fi Fantasy Saturdays. Do you know what a foglet is?
Yeah, that's something that I did the other night after chili.
Not exactly.
Something.
Seriously, Jaden? Do you think that'll be a Andromeda strain?
Never read that one. Is that Crichton too?
Characters were good in it. It is boring, but the characters were good. So he's wrong. He's wrong in his opinion about the characters. The characters were good, but it was the well, you might. It's the boringness that probably took you out of it, Jaden.
Is that another Crichton?
You know what? I can't remember who did Andromeda Strain.
And Blade Runner, yeah, I never read the book, and I refuse to watch the second movie. There's only one movie because I like my ambiguous endings. I don't like things telling me what the resolution of ambiguous ending. Like if there was an Inception 2, I would not watch it because I don't want to know if that top falls over. So unless he can find a way to not tell that, I'm not interested.
Yeah, you like Schrodinger's cat too.
Schrodinger's cat? I really like the real Schrodinger's cat, like the physics deal. I think that's a really fascinating. I didn't know there was a book.
Oh, there's quite a few different people have done books about it, but yeah, I'm talking about the. Why do they look like gremlins?
There's only one of them. What's that?
I was asking Legatus to give us a time check.
Oh, fuck. I think we have 45 minutes.
Okay, I'm doing like 20 things at once right now, trying to get everything done. No, the characters were good, Jade. Read it again, and it is very boring. I will give you that 100%. The characters were done very well. Okay, it is Crichton.
Legatus, I think I did very well tonight. I got an hour and 42 minutes into the stream without dying. I think I did pretty good this time.
I don't have the memory of Adam, so I don't know sometimes if it's who that is. I'll remember things, but not always who wrote it.
I'm surprised the type of stuff that I remember sometimes like that. Like IMDb, I know too much about IMDb, like actors who were involved, who wrote, stuff like that, what other stuff they've been in. I don't know why I know so much about that, but other things I could not remember to save my life.
See, that's my brain with science. That's why I did so good with marine biology, herpetology, toxicology. Why I'm so good with that kind of stuff is I remember the science movies and books sometimes, depending on how good it was. And I do have the great ability to just rat out memory hole something instantly, as you've seen.
Well, like with Sword of Destiny, you finished it, right? You're on Blood of Elves, right?
Starting Blood of Elves tomorrow, but I don't know if I'll start it tomorrow. I may go back and read again because I'm still trying to tie a few things in here and there.
Well, for Blood of Elves, you said you remember the lesbian part as being really boring. The lesbian part's at the beginning of Blood of Elves.
Yes. No, I know. No, I remember that part. I'm not talking about that part being boring. I am talking about the Yennefer chapter.
Oh, and so yeah. All right, that's the one you were talking about where she's where it's a relationship drama for some reason.
Yes.
Yeah, that one's really boring. But with Sword of Destiny, there's the two different series storylines, and one's when she's 9 or 10, and the other one's when she's 12. And that's the big way that you tell that there's a time difference. Is they mention it's been 2 years since we've seen each other, and that was after the Battle of Sintra when they reunite and hug at the end of the book. That's 2 years after they met at Brocculon.
Let's see, this is why I like I'll read one and then I will go back and I will plot point it. And that's just the way I had the greatest history teacher in the world in the 7th and 8th grade. He taught us how to read something And then when you read it and you get the next reading, like for history, you go back and you find out what you just read and you tie it back in. So you're getting a complete full picture.
My history teacher was atrocious when I went to middle school for part of a year. It was horrendous. He literally just read out of the textbook. If I were ever a history teacher, I would barely use a textbook. I'd make them read journals, read actual accounts, read books. It's like, no, we're not going to just read a paragraph description of this event. You're going to read someone's actual account of it. We're going to read the journals of the men who survived Valley Forge. We're not going to read Valley Forge was cold and shit and people died. No, I want the real history, not the facts and figures.
Yeah, I'll give you some insight. He was a colonel in the United States Air Force from the Vietnam era. After Vietnam, he got consul duty Russia for 6 years. He'd seen the world, and then when he got out, he wanted to pass on what he knew to kids. And I could tell you everything that I learned. I can almost day by day in his class for 2 years tell you everything. He made everything memorable. He taught you how to do things.
A good teacher can make all the difference.
He's 91 years old, and he's on my junior high's Facebook page. Well, his daughter is. He doesn't do it, but the post about him comes up all the time. Hundreds of. If you want testimony of somebody, there's probably 100 plus. Well, there's more than that. There's probably 200-300 kids over the years that have got on that page and said, "I remember him," and the memories you can tell them like they're like yesterday. That's a good teacher.
I wish I had teachers like that, man. If I were ever to teach, I think I would do literature. Like, that's what I would want to teach. History I could definitely do, but pretty much any other subject I don't have enough of an interest in to be good enough at it.
What are you talking about, Jaden?
And he's talking about in The Witcher. Yeah, there's no male gay stuff in The Witcher. There's several different lesbian references, but no gay men that I'm aware of. Besides, in the game, there's a brief reference to someone being gay. Like, there are gay characters, but they're not prominent, and there's no gay sex, whereas there is lesbian sex.
There's nothing wrong with that ever.
No.
There is an old... Let me see if I can find this.
Yeah, Legatus, he was telling me about that. It took him over 3 hours to beat that one Valkyrie, so probably shouldn't dedicate a stream just to that.
Monster's dead.
That's what I'm thinking of. Okay, there is a 1984 movie called Teachers. You need to watch that, Jaden.
Hang on a minute. This is less than we agreed.
There's a history teacher.
That beast, it kept me from gathering.
That reminds me of, I don't know why I connected the dot to the Breakfast Club, but what do you think of John Hughes movies?
I like them.
He has some really good ones, like Not Another Teen Movie and Ferris Bueller's Day Off. God, I'm going to bring up Ferris Bueller's Day Off one of these weeks on Saturday Night
Hell
Drive.
yes, you have to. That is.
But Breakfast Club, I'm not that into.
Breakfast Club, that would be my generation.
Yeah, maybe it is a generational thing, but I just not that interested in it. It's fine. It's just there's not a plot to speak of. It's more just a character drama, which I do enjoy sometimes, but I wasn't getting invested in these characters.
It is
they
a
came
coming
across
of
as
age.
two-dimensional.
Oh no. No,
I get that that's not true, but it just felt that way to a extent where I'm just like, it's kind of like The Godfather. It's like, it's not for me. I can respect
I
it
was
as
saying,
being great.
to Jaden, no, it's not a comedy.
Oh.
Teachers is not a comedy. Actually, has Nick Nolte ever done a comedy? A true comedy?
It's so sad that my generation, most of them at least, only know Nick Nolte as the Ugnaught from Mandalorian. That's the only reason a lot of people my age know who he is.
God, that does kind of hurt me too.
One of my favorite performances of him is actually a strange choice. It just freaked me out so much as a kid that it's just the most memorable. in the Spiderwick Chronicles. He was the villain in that, and he just creeped me the fuck out. So that's always what I think of when I think Nick Nolte is that dude scaring the shit out of me.
Yeah, he's good at doing that. He's a great actor at it. But now, The Breakfast Club, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, 16 Candles.
Never saw 16 Candles.
Weird Science. Oh, Weird Science. I love that one so much. Lost Boys.
Ooh. We upgraded. You get to see my
So long.
my Chinese armor. Let's see. Yes. 2% cause burning. Do I have a 3% freeze? Nope, it's freeze or poison. I'm gonna go with freeze. And I'm dressing up as a Chinese warrior. I like it. No, it's not about spiders, Jaden Hamilton. It's very if you've seen Lock and Key on Netflix, there's a lot of similarities, and kind of like Narnia, a bunch of kids go to an old family estate that their parent inherited, and it finds out that the place is magical to a certain extent. It's fine. I don't think it's super good. It's not a great movie. It's just, it was one of those, young adult, middle school age movies that I watched as a kid, and Nick Nolte was just a great villain in it.
JB, yes, he is.
Show me what you've got on offer.
All right.
But it's like 70s cartoons. I mean, that was a time when cartoons were great. They were made by people on serious narcotics at the time, and you could definitely tell, but they were still great.
Oh, I love it.
So long.
But yeah, 10 is a good age for that. Here, let me change up my trophy, and then I got to play this guy in Gwent to get his card.
I mean, you have to watch HR Puff and stuff to understand how whacked out people were in the 70s and 80s.
Oh, I've seen enough to know that they were off their rockers half the time, and kind of why they were so great at what they did in storytelling wise. Drugs?
Yeah, Land.
Fuck, I don't have any spies. Please have some spies, Nilfgaardian. Oh man, this is an awful, awful hand. It's really atrocious.
I forgot Kilmer did Murder in the Rue Morgue. God, it's been a long time since I've seen that one.
You ever seen Kilmore's The Saint?
Oh God, yes. I love The Saint.
It's one of my favorite spy thrillers.
He does the makeup in there. I think that's what was so good for me, is the makeup. And also, we might be coming up on that technology.
Yeah. I was just watching a Community today for like the 10th time, and you've seen it, right? We've talked about it before, right?
Yeah, we've talked about it.
Yeah. Remember in season 6, near the end, or is the end of season 5, when Chang betrays them?
Yeah, that's 5.
He betrays them again, and he's like, there's a lot more to it than just betraying you, and then he tries to rip off his mask, and he's like, wait, I'm not wearing a mask? I guess there's nothing more to it than that.
Yeah.
He tries to rip off his face.
JB, they weren't only puffing stuff. There's these things called mushrooms. Wonderful things. And LSD.
Yeah, no, Jaden, that armor is a lot better.
God, I miss the 70s. I miss the 80s even more. How can anybody say the 80s were bad? Conan. Empire Strikes Back.
Mm-hmm. The 80s are
Babylon
probably my
5s.
favorite. 80s are probably my favorite decade for film and television. 90s are pretty great too. It's hard to compete.
There's just a lot of
I think
fun.
90s were better television. 80s were better movies. Because that's when Star Trek really hit its stride, was in the 90s, besides the original series, of course. I think I might actually win this one. I thought my deck was too horrible.
So was I, JB. So was I in Southern California on the Sunset Strip. It's common knowledge. I've been to multiple Grateful Dead concerts, and I cannot remember a single one of them past the parking lot.
You're doing it wrong if you can remember them.
Amen. But let's put it this way. I went to these two little festivals that you may have heard of. Us Festival, 82 and 83.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Dude, I should not have won this. It's fucking garbage. This NPC had no hand. Oh yeah. Look at that. I got lions on the arms and on the belly, midriff area. Some beautiful armor. And it's just with the next gen update is what this came with. I like it. They still haven't fixed this merchant that's supposedly supposed to stand here. There's an icon for him on the mini-map, but he is never actually there.
Where'd you get the silver? Yeah.
Funnily enough, this is actually one of the best blacksmiths in the entire game, and he's just in some random town.
Well, he was driven about the 70s and 80s in this timeline that we're in now.
I hate this timeline. I have... Ooh, yes, I want those. I can sell a little bit more. I'll sell the gloves.
In my timeline, I went to an Iron Maiden concert at Long Beach. The album was called Live After Death.
I'm pretty jealous of that.
You know, at the time, it was nothing for us because we were rocking out. We didn't care. Now we look back and go, wow, we were there. Oh, yeah. Pink Floyd was probably the best of all the concerts, JB. The laser lights.
When I was growing up, country was my favorite genre, and I still really enjoy country, but the older I get, the more it's just classic rock, 70s and 80s, and just ignore everything else.
I like any country before probably 1995.
Yeah, George Strait was one of the last good ones.
What is it the wolf needs?
Yeah, he's touring again.
Found your father's body.
Oh, yeah?
Yep, saw that the other day. I don't know if it's limited engagements or what, but I saw he was going on tour again.
Ghost's not likely to come back. Thank you, Witcher. A reward for your aid. And if herbs or remedies you ever need, for near nothing you will have them from me.
All right, let's see what you got.
I'll tell you this, of all the concerts I've ever seen, and I can't even list them all, Ronnie James Dio put on the best concert, hands down, period. Not even an argument to be made for anybody else.
Yeah.
And Dio's not even my favorite artist. The shows were great. There was no getting around it. It's something about his voice. It's just power. Now, when you want to talk about power voices, Ronnie James Dio, Bruce Dickinson, Ann Wilson, Pat Benatar. There's only a few of them that have such powerful voices. Oh, JP, were you there too? God, yes. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna do this and go find Tamara. All right, where are you?
Oh my God! Somebody else who knows about the planetarium. Griffith Park. And I could tell you how to get away from the LAPD real quick if they showed up.
Probably an important skill to know.
Oh yeah, well LASO was more of a concern than LAPD, but yeah, they'd show up. The sheriffs were dicks. They brought the helicopter.
You're that rowdy?
No man, there was enough drugs at the Pink Floyd show to make Scarface jealous. Oh, Fantasia. God, I forgot about that. Have you ever seen Fantasia or Heavy Metal, Jed?
Oh, I've seen the Disney Fantasia. Is that painful?
No, I'm reading JP. I guarantee he and I crossed paths. If he was there, I mean, there's no way. I was there every Friday night. Hit the Sunset Strip, then hit the planetarium, and oh yeah.
All right, let's go to Hangman's Tree.
I can actually do something, and JB will get this. Let me see if I can find it real quick. And I'll have Jed present it. Wait, I should not be scrolling when I go to my page.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can find it real quick. Oh, there it is.
All right, I'm sure this woodland beast is not going to be too difficult. It's only a level 6 quest, so should be able to knock it out pretty fast. And then we're going to go to Oxenfed.
Come on, there we go.
Does the name Shawnee sound familiar to you from the Witcher books? It probably doesn't.
No, it does not.
Geralt, Dandelion walked in on Geralt having sex with her once, but she ends up being an important character in the later books and in The Witcher 1 and 3. But yeah, you've met her at this point. But yeah, I can't imagine you would remember her. It's just like, ooh, look at this medical student named Shawnee that Geralt just boned the fuck out of.
Is it possible for you to present? There you go. Hey, JB. That's a concert shirt from Ride the Lightning. That's me in 1984. I believe it was 84. Yeah, 84.
And my dad was 8 years old then. My parents were 8.
I hate you even more right now. I keep forgetting how young you are.
1999, baby.
Yeah, that was
the last good decade to be born in.
That was 84. I had to look up Ride the Lightning just to be sure. My memory's not completely gone. It was 84.
Hear about the notice.
Ooh, Journey.
Monster trouble.
I like Journey too, JB. Journey's pretty great. Can't go wrong with Don't Stop Believing. It's cliche, but it's cliche for a reason.
Okay, as it's known, I went to Journey for one reason and one reason only. Thank God for Journey. You got that right.
Arrows, rations, all around, fucked. Send a patrol out.
Dude, we've got some really good numbers on this gaming stream. We've never dropped below 10, and we've gotten up to 17.
Bring me the fucker's head, and I'll give you gold.
Pretty great.
As much as the notice says.
JB, you don't come across as an older man. I always thought from your image that you were probably in your 30s. Based on no real evidence whatsoever, I just kind of assumed.
My grandkids are still below teens, and that's because I threatened their dad that if he had kids before I was 50, I was going to cut his pecker off and glue it to his forehead. And he believed me.
Well, my family already has kids. My cousin, she's 4 years younger than me. She has the first grandchild, that generation, great grandchild for my grandma. It's kind of a weird situation. She was still in high school, but
That's kind of normal.
yeah, it's weird to think that I have. There's another generation of my family now just started, and to think that my aunt and uncle are grandparents, and they were like, I think they're 41.
No, I luckily got to know my great grandparents, so.
Yeah, I knew several of mine as well. The dogs are gone.
Yeah, the 80s. 80s were great.
Come out. I'm not gonna hurt you.
I will tell you who's got a better voice now than back in the 80s. Boy George.
Yeah.
I heard him doing Karma Chameleon the other night, and I was like, holy crap, who is that? And I was like, yeah, that's Boy George. He's got better with age.
Don't have any food.
Thank you.
And everybody
you,
says all
for
of
your
us old
kindness.
people, we're xenophobic, homophobic, all this shit. We all love Boy George. Boy
Yeah,
George
the 80s are one of the gayest decades ever.
Rob
grew up in-
Halford of Judas Priest is gay, people. I love Judas Priest to this day.
Yeah, I don't think many people actually give a fuck as much as they want you. The Twitter mob and the media wants you to believe people give a fuck.
We accepted people for who they were, especially if you were in California. It was a melting pot. It's like, okay, he's whatever.
Yeah, if you
no
were
big
into
deal.
music, if you were into music or art in any way, theater in the 80s, yeah, you knew plenty of gay people.
Now, Duran Duran, we all hated them. You two, we liked. There's just the way it was with certain things.
Yeah, Portland, Oregon is insane right now, JB. I went there 12 years ago for the first time, and even then it was a little bit nuts, but nowhere near what it is now.
How do you? I don't get how these people, you and I, because well, who we're associated with, we'll hear it every so often. I actually got told that today playing one of my games because they recognized Mustang. They knew who it was.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, okay, well, you're the blah blah blah. I said, no. I said, one of the people I love the most on the team is Shaban. I was like, I would do the world for her in a heartbeat. He's the only one that my wife will allow to go storm chasing with me. Let's put it that way. It's like, how the heck could they call any of us anything but we care about each other and people? I mean, Jeremy, for lack of a lot of things, Jeremy has surrounded himself with people that care about people.
No matter what those people look like. And yeah, JB, that's a good rule of thumb. As long as you're not grabbing my ass or making me tell me what to believe.
Now, hold on, JB. Hold on, JB. I got a problem with JB here. The Jordache horse. You're old enough like me to remember what the slogan was.
Our monster collects military paraphernalia.
I know Jed won't, but I want to see if JB remembers the slogan for the Jordache horse.
But here,
I have no idea even what you're referring to.
If he doesn't remember it when I say it, he'll remember it, and everybody would get in trouble today. You know what Jordache is, right?
No.
It's a brand of pants.
Okay.
They also had some shirts. So let's get JB. What are we, about 20 seconds, 30 seconds on the lag between game where we're at and what they're seeing?
Look around some.
Something like that.
Okay, we'll give him about 30 seconds, see if he remembers.
Oh, it's a lot of drowners.
While we're waiting, I'm going to go check and see where we're at for time-wise, because I do have to do a few things.
Yeah, I'm going to be stopping probably when I finish this quest, or at least when I get to Oxenford, because I don't want to go up on him too much.
Yeah, I need to go use the little boys' room, get a drink and stuff like that before tonight, so we got 20 minutes. 19 minutes.
Now he doesn't remember.
Pinch the Jordache horse was the slogan. Everybody was walking around, especially if it's a hot girl. They were pinching. And seeing how it was mostly pants, it was pinching the butt, but occasionally there was the Jordache horse shirt.
Pinch that.
Yep.
Or pull a Trump, pinch the other end of the pants.
I know, because the girls back then would deck you. They grew up with big brothers and cousins, and back then the girls would just kick your ass. They didn't care.
It's important.
I don't trust you.
Figured as much when I saw your bow aimed at
These are the Scoia'tael. Have you heard reference to the Scoia'tael yet?
I know who the Scoia'tael are.
I can assure you of that.
All right, take it easy, Jaden. I love the Scoia'tael. They're a really interesting deal because you feel for their plight, but they also go way over the line of what's acceptable in the name of their cause. So it's like you feel bad, but they're also insane murder terrorists. So it's like, you know what? Whose side should I really be on? Makes it difficult.
Yeah, Heaven's Gate.
That gun. Strange.
See, these are Witcher elves, at least from this time period. This is what we should have seen in the TV show. In Blood Origin, they should have looked like Tolkien elves, but in the main Witcher show, this is what they were supposed to look like.
They're mistaken. It's not the first time. There's no monster.
What is it, 1,000 years from Blood Origin to where we're at?
According to Blood Origin, the conjunction was supposed to be even before that. The conjunction takes place 200 BC, basically 200 BR, and then the events of the books take place roughly around 1250 AR. So that's almost 1,500 years.
Well, yeah, 15. But the elves should look like this. Well, should have looked like Tolkien elves even in the show, is my opinion, because elves are not going to change that much over 1,500 years.
It's not just devolution based on time. It's devolution, like active devolution, enforced upon them by the changing of the conjunction. So, it's an act of force, forcing them to devolve at that quick of a rate. It's the only reason humanity was able to become dominant is because they devolved so much. But yeah, it's not just like, oh, we've aged out of our power. No, that, of course, you're right. That would take hundreds of thousands of years. But because the elves gain their power from the closeness of the universes, they're multiversal beings. So as long as the multiverse is close, they are the strongest. So the conjunction should have actually seen the most powerful version of the elves in all of recorded history. That's when they should have been the most powerful. And the longer we get away from the conjunction, the weaker they become. And supposedly it's believed that there's going to be another conjunction again someday. And it is going to be heralded by a rise in elven power for the few thousand years before it as they regain their etherealness.
So basically, the elves should have been 6'4" or better, and instead we got Galadriel, 5'2".
Basically, yeah, they just like how they did Galadriel in Fellowship of the Ring, like glowing, putting the Christmas lights behind the camera, making just feel like they're not human. Make them feel more. That's what Blood Origin should have had.
I got to get a hold of you one afternoon when you and I can sit down and talk. Because I want some your input on what I'm doing in my office.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You're decorating it.
Oh yeah. That wall that's normally behind me, the blue one, that's going to turn into the Green Dragon.
Yeah, I've seen your images of that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm brewing some mead right now. That's going to be put in jars and up on there. But I need some input on lighting, how I should actually light that.
I light my room like a psychopath, so
okay.
I don't know if I've ever shown you, but my lights for when I record videos, I don't use them on live streams, but they're big photo.
Oh, good God!
I have another one. I have another one over there, and another one behind the camera, and then this is just a ring light I'm using right now on live streams.
JB in the books, Galadriel herself was 6'4", Celebrimbor was 6'6". I could go on.
But yeah, I'm just repurposing film equipment I have. I have a ton of really actually good film equipment, a 4K camera, all that type of stuff. And so these are lights I had with it. So it's like, I already have them. Might as well use them.
Yeah, I mean, if you got them, use them. It's cheaper than buying a new one for $12.
Yeah. Well, ring lights are expensive, and they're not good enough for as big of a room as I have. I need more than just a ring light, so these do the trick for videos. I've looked outside my window when I have them on at night, and Jesus Christ, I'm a beacon to the neighborhood if I leave my blinds open.
Dude, if I don't even want to think what would happen if I cranked up my tank lights full max. You'd probably see it 2 towns over. Because I can, lumen-wise, off the charts. I mean, those are reef lights, so.
I've always said if someone wanted to snipe me, it would be really easy while I'm working in this office. It's like perfect conditions.
Oh, I found a few more houses the other night when I down there.
Oh yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
I got my dates. I talked about it at the beginning of the stream. Yeah, I'm going to be in Dallas the 29th through the 1st. And yeah, it's interesting. I kind of got dragged into that as well, the Zillow rabbit hole.
Yeah, there's some nice ones starting to pop up down there, so you definitely need to get a hold of a realtor, and if you could find one that really strikes you, let me know and I'll come down and I'll go over it with a fine tooth.
Searched the woods, didn't find it.
That, or you one shape witcher. What are you still doing here?
I sided with the Scoia'tael. I gave up my reward because I didn't want the guard hunting down the Scoia'tael. Maybe it was the wrong choice, but I feel bad for the Scoia'tael.
Wait a minute, you're going to Dallas?
What?
You're going to Dallas?
Fuck Houston. I've been talking about
Okay,
Dallas.
it's like shit, I'm in the wrong town looking.
No, I've been talking about Houston all day because we just replaced our technician there, and someone at a different market is mad at us for that. It's like, we were dealing with this technician to get rid of this equipment, but now that he's gone, we're not doing it now. It's like, the guy left. What are we supposed to do? Are you going to at least talk to the new guy? No, we won't even work with the new guy. It's like, it's not like they don't like the new guy, it's they refuse to talk to the new guy. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with people? So I've been talking about Dallas a lot today, trying to figure out that situation and not get everyone freaked out. All right. I'll go to Oxenford.
I'm trying to remember if that's the first edition or not.
Did you hear that, NPC?
No, I'm sitting here trying to. My brain's racking. Is that first edition or is that second? Is that first edition second printing? God, this is me with Tolkien. Is like you with Witcher and Doctor Who. Is my brain starts going Rolodex time.
Well, that NPC said, only thing a man has to offer is his prick, and if he won't give it to you, give him a good whack on the head with the hammer and take it. What the fuck is wrong with that lady?
Oh God, you bring up Dick. So I watched Grump's stream yesterday, and
what type of guy? Fuck, I'm very concerned.
I'm watching Grump's stream yesterday. And
there's a third way out.
Grump is not a dermy. He can actually hit things when he shoots at them.
Right.
So he shoots a guy in the dick, and the next words out of his words are just like this. Dick shot. 153 points. So he starts running around shooting everybody in the dick. Like, Grump!
What game is that?
Oh, I can't remember now. I was laughing so damn hard. It's, Viking Valhalla.
Oh, yeah.
It's rolling.
It's hard to aim in that game. It's very hard. So that's very impressive that he was able to do that.
Yeah, he was running around shooting everybody in the dick after he figured out he could get 153 points for him. I was laughing so hard. I haven't laughed like that since, well, last Mellow Monday. Oh, still not sure how that would stay green. Okay, 10 minutes.
All right, yeah, I'm going to call it there. because I got to do some things before that stream as well. All right, I'm on my way to Oxenford to find the Baron's daughter, and that's where we will pick up at some point, because I don't know when the next stream I'll be able to do for this is, because I'll be out of town for next Monday. So we'll see when I pick it back up. I'll probably try to do a supplementary one at the end of this week, maybe Friday night, but we'll see. And that's where we're going to leave it for the evening. Mustang, thanks for joining me. It's always fun to have someone to, shoot the shit with, complain about the awful stuff that we deal with, and talk about the good stuff with the Witcher books. Where can people find you, my friend?
In a land far, far away. Still working on my office mostly. I've got some fish tank videos for Tranquil Waters coming out, and I'm working on one for Mustang right now. I'm trying to do something that nobody's doing, and basically I'm going back to the 50s. And since Adam
Very
and
nice.
everybody stole the first one I was going to do, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm actually going to do my first review is on Forbidden Planet, because start where it started, I guess, for sci-fi. So I
Very
figured,
nice.
yeah, that'll be the first one I do, and we'll see where it goes. Just have some fun.
Very nice. Well, thanks to the chat for showing up. We got some really impressive numbers this evening. This might be one of the greatest, at least peak, like consistent viewership for these gaming streams. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. Legatus, thank you for posting the link to Adam's stream. Everyone should go over there and bug him for Mellow Mondays. We'll probably both be on there in just a few minutes from here now. And yeah, thanks Legatus, JB, and Jaden Hamilton for all showing up. But that is all that we have for today. So we'll see you guys anon. Take care, everyone.
Hey, yo, are you feeling what I'm doing up in here? Oh, I know you are. Do you miss all the good, compelling stories that we used to get back in Hollywood that they ain't putting down no more? Oh, I know you missing it. So check out my book series, Odyssey of a Phoenix, a mythological epic about philosophy, morality, and modern day mental illness issues, baby. Book 1, Down in Flames. Book 2, Apocalypse Then. These are currently on sale. What are you waiting for? Get your hands on them. And we got Book 3, Kill the Dark, is coming down the pipeline. Just wait for all the good stuff that's dropping. You ain't gonna be disappointed, fam.